Sometimes when I'm seeing a couple, they ask me what I think about just taking a break or a pause from their relationship. A pause in your relationship means different things to different people. Sometimes you may want to pause if there's something going on in your life that seems overwhelming or consuming. It doesn't have to be related to the relationship. It could be something that's happening in your family, in your career, and you just need time away to not be distracted by your partner. You need time away to focus and think and maybe even step in the case of if a parent is ill or something like that, and help them until they're stabilized, and then you want to come back to the relationship. For other people, a pause is something they put in the relationship when they feel like ending the relationship, but they're just not sure. I've seen taking a pause be beneficial for a relationship, but I've also seen it exactly what I was just alluding to. It was the step before a final breakup. I'm not saying that I'm for them or against them, but taking a pause, the way it has to work, no matter what's going on in the relationship, this is to preserve your own integrity, needs to be transparent. You need to be honest about why you're taking the pause, and you need to be upfront and open the discussion so your partner and you can talk about it. Doing it as a weak, well, I'm thinking maybe, or anything vague, it really confuses the other partner, and more than likely, it will end the relationship. Because when you love someone, that means you are honest with them, you are vulnerable with them, and you have the ability to be direct and honest about everything you're feeling. You don't blame them for their reaction. You don't say, well, the reason I wasn't honest is I didn't want you to get upset. No, that's off the table. If you're going back to those things, then you're too emotionally immature to have a good relationship anyway. So I'm going to go through the do's and don'ts of taking a pause for the best possible survival of the relationship, okay? Okay, the first one, don't take a pause if you're certain the relationship is ended. If you're certain the relationship is ended, step up, talk to your partner and tell them that from where you stand right now, you do not wish to continue the relationship. That is important. That's a mature, responsible thing to do. Secondly, if you're thinking about it, then have an honest conversation, as I said. And don't use an excuse like, well, I didn't want to upset you. As I just have already explained, that makes your partner feel like you are not totally being honest, and they're not going to trust you, and a pause is going to end the relationship. Set boundaries. You need to set firm boundaries. Is this pause for, 2 weeks or a month? And if it's that long, are you allowed to see partners, other people, or are you still monogamous? If you're monogamous, that means you're faithful to each other. You're not seeing other people. You're just taking a pause to get your head straight. Next, do not talk frequently during the pause. Remember, if you're taking a pause, if you're taking a break from your partner, that means you've got to focus on other things. You shouldn't be talking to them every day. You should use that time to really work on your issues, resolve whatever is going on for you, rather than handing it over or venting it to your partner. Define the time break of the pause. I recommend a 2-week pause or a 3-week pause. If you're going to go more than that, then I'm going to say I would not recommend it, because that is too long to not talk to each other frequently and for your partner to really feel like you are still there for them. And not only that, I think no matter what's going on in life, you should have a better idea in 2 weeks away from each other what it is you want to pursue, if it's another interest or if it's stabilizing a situation at work or home that you need to do. Don't focus too much on working on the other person's needs. Remember, when you go see a therapist during a break, I'm not going to care about what your partner's doing. I'm going to talk to you about what you're feeling, what you're doing to reinvest, to make yourself a better person. These are the things that I want to know, because I'm assuming a pause, especially if you recommended it, was going to be for you to work on things that you felt you personally needed to work on. Give yourself permission to feel any feeling that comes up. Sometimes during a pause, you will feel guilty because you'll say, man, I'm so much happier. I just feel so good getting back to me. Well, that could indicate that the relationship is making you feel lost. And that would be something that you would want to talk about and build a protective system into your relationship after the two of you got back together, if you were thinking that you were going to do that. But no matter what the feelings are not right or wrong, so don't give it a judgment. Don't ghost your partner during this time. This is not a time when you just disappear and never come back. It's not a prelude to ghosting. That's for immature, unethical people. This is something the two of you talked about. You are going to rejoin and talk about what you learned about yourself during this break or pause from the relationship, and how this pause is going to help you make your relationship better. Keep it between the two of you. You don't want this posted all over social media. You don't want a lot of friends talking about it or asking you about it. This is a time to pause from the world. Not only are you and your partner taking a break, you're going to get back to you. Who are you? What parts of you need fueling? Which parts of you need rebuilding? Which parts of you need to rest and restore before you can go back and be a vital, loving partner? Don't set impractical goals. If you're thinking maybe during this time you're setting a goal list of what you're going to do when you get back together, what you want to say to your partner, it's important you stay very realistic with goals. If you're in school and you want to, you have 2 more years, then you're going to want to stick with that budget, with that regimen, with that routine, and you're not going to want to plan an exotic trip or a break from school during the last 2 years. You're going to want to stay steady the course and finish school, because that's going to be your ticket to building a better life with your partner. Pausing the relationship cannot be done out of anger. If you're angry, that is not a time for a pause. Anger is a feeling that brings you closer. It's a connector. It is not a reactor by taking a break and, sweeping it under the carpet. Anger demands talking about it, discussion, and resolution. And you cannot do that during a pause. Commit to exploring things you are passionate about during this pause. Sometimes when you're with someone, you become so smitten with them that before you know it, you let everything else that you used to love about life go. That is not healthy for you, and it's not healthy for your relationship. So it's important that you take this time to restore those things. Listen as much as you speak. Listen to strangers, listen to what's going on around you, and mostly when you get back with your partner, listen to them more than you talk to or with them. And lastly, get expert help if necessary. If the two of you come back and you've defined areas, especially if you've defined areas that you want to work on, that you are committed to working on, then at that point, I would say get a therapist. And it doesn't matter if those issues are personal or in your relationship. I think the most important thing is you identify them, you take responsibility for them, and then together you come up with an idea, with a plan for making it work.